Hey gang, it's OCD Hi-Fi guy here again, and looks like we're coming around to the final wrap-up of this shootout. Uh, you know, each one of them has their strong points, and some that may not be so strong. So I'll kind of go through them quickly. First off, as you can see on the top, okay, the cause I should have had these maybe lit up, but the cause engineering D1, in my opinion, absolutely the best cosmetic, the best looking DAC I've probably ever seen. Now, I am one for minimalist modern design, so I love this. The fact that they went ahead and made a whole faceplate of a piece of equipment, a DAC with no display and one button and no printing, it just blows my mind. I think it's a gorgeous thing of beauty. Okay, so the strong point clearly in the cause is the cosmetic over everything else. I think it's the most beautiful. Now, the other thing that's something about this, see if I can crawl over here, is this part here. Okay, look at that. That's an analog section. That is an analog input, and it is fully differential. So you've got actually balanced inputs that are true differential circuit that goes through this thing and back out. So this means you can also use the DAC as a volume control and to switching between analogs. So, a vinyl rig, your turntable, you can use it with the cause. It's the only one here that you can do that with, which is something else. Okay, so the Metrum, what do we have here? Okay, very, very stout build quality. This is very solid. It's cool. It's like glass or something on the top. Modular architecture inside. I would say that this one is probably, well, it's definitely to me like the most analog sounding. It definitely has a very nice feel to it. More than anything, the other ones kind of tweak my brain a little bit more. This, I just sit and go. It just feels so good. Very much analog-like. It's very purist. There are no settings on this. You can't change a thing. It's inside it's very clean. The circuit, everything is in their own little potted, encapsulation. So it's really something else. It's simple to use, very easy. I'll go back to the back panel of this one too, and we can see it's pretty straightforward. I always like it when they separate the right and the left, by some distance. You can sort of tell, okay, there's two different boards in there because they're separate. So the Metrum is the most analog of the bunch. Over here, and actually, well, we'll get to that later, but okay, over here we got the Rockna. Okay, now this is the Wave Dream Signature that we see right here. Wave Dream Signature is, to me, the best. It renders the most amount of information. Okay, this brings back more out of all the music than any of the other ones. You can kind of tell it's a digital professional engineer, the guy that made this thing. It's got all sorts of settings. You can go into this menu right now. It's showing us that, a filter that you can turn it off, or you can have hybrid right now. If it says hybrid, or if it's low or minimum phase or linear phase, the names of the filters are telling you that it's doing oversampling. If it says off for the filter, that means it's in NOS mode and it's not oversampling. So the Rockna truly has the most resolute and resolved and lucid and immediate presence of vocal and of drums and of it's got that little nth degree. You just know when you listen to this thing, there's more music coming out of it. Underneath, that's just the line stage. We don't need to worry about that. I was just listening to the Rockna through the line stage because, this whole time we've been listening to the Terminator through this line stage. And I wanted to see, well, is the line stage, would it mess things up for the Rockna? Well, it didn't. It still sounds fabulous. We'll play some music in a second. I'm going to play some demos of some different music, and we'll give everything a listen again. And then the Denafrips Terminator, it's packed up right now. It's getting ready to go for a review, and so Meanwhile, we'll sit here, we'll play with these others, and we can resume it. But a lot of people are asking which is your favorite. The Rachna is my reference. Okay, that's the one I use here. These all belong to me, and nobody gave me any of these or whatever to speak about them. I paid for all of them, one way or another, whether it was trading or whatever. But nonetheless, so I would have to say, Rachna is my reference. But I'm not getting rid of any of these, okay? I'm not selling the Metrum. I'm not selling the Cause. I'm not selling the Denafrips. I'm keeping them all because for different moods and different, I guess maybe later on some will get, the ones that don't get used, I'll eventually sell. But for now, I don't want to sell any of them. I'm going to keep them. So that's where I'm at. They all have their strong points and their different points. What else was I going to go into? Oh yeah, okay. So the Rachna also has the most amount of settings. Okay, you can change the filter, you can change the dither, you can change many things inside the menu, which gives it kind of the most tweakability. So you can change it up a little bit. If it's a little too forward, you can change a filter. If it's a little not if you want more resolution, you can change a filter. So it is kind of unique in that respect. The Rachna and the Terminator are the only ones that have I2S input. Okay, so with the I2S, it is an improvement for me. Now it's very close on the Rachna between USB, actually on the Denafrips yesterday, on the Terminator, very close between USB and I2S. I couldn't hear a difference. Now, probably the big part about that is that we're coming out USB and then we're converting to I2S, when in reality, you want to come out of your streamer I2S. That's the whole idea, is to avoid the USB conversion, which we haven't done at all yet. All we've done is convert USB to I2S, which is kind of silly to me. I think more than anything, it gets the benefit of reclocking in the converter. I guess the reclocking is probably the biggest benefit to that. So I am about ready to. I build servers, by the way, so you can see. Let's see if we go over here. Here's the one that we've been using. This is one that I built. Okay, and it's I've got it pulled apart because I'm doing different things. I'm listening to different things to test different things. But it's based on this one is an i7. And they say, well, i7's too noisy. Well, not really, man. Neither i5. This is an i3 based Asus NUC. Now, I just wanted to see, does a NUC sound that crappy? Because, that's what I was told. Oh, no, you can't do a NUC. A NUC sounds horrible. Well, you know what? The whole music, the whole time we've been listening to has been that little NUC. That thing's like, whatever, $400, So, jury's out on these music server things for me. It's a computer, okay? There is no such thing as a music server, per se. It's a regular computer that's optimized for playing back music. Nothing special. Other than just good parts and optimized software and so forth. So, don't believe the hype. So that's that. I will come back to you with some more on this final shootout. Again, I'm listening to the Terminator, or I'm sorry, to the Wave Dream Signature tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be doing some comparisons, and we'll be listening as well between the D1, the Cause Engineering D1 V1 and V2. Okay, so the version 1 was the one that you see reviewed on Six Moons and everything that everybody loved. There's now a V2 out where they redid the power supply board and added some improvements. So we can listen to them both and see if we can hear them on this video. And a little later on in the week, possibly the weekend, we're going to do some cable swap outs too, and listen to some different cables and see, do cables make a difference? Well, To prove this fact, I've made up a couple cables because, that's what I do. I design and make audio cables. Well, I've made some up that accentuate certain parts of the frequency spectrum so I can show you how we can manipulate sound using cables, okay? Companies do that, and really the ones that I make, I try and get them as neutral as possible so they don't add anything. And they really let you hear your components. But I'll show you in a couple examples how I can accentuate the mid-range, I can accentuate the bass, I can really mess with the sound, mess with it really. I mean, I can tune it, I don't recommend tuning using cables whatsoever. In fact, that's just I don't agree with that. But I can show you how it's easily done. I guess that's it. So I hope you all are having a good night and take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.